Hey there, it's Casey. I am here with Jean. She is a registered nurse, and I have asked her to come and talk to you guys about water and the importance of water. So I'm going to let her take it away for a few minutes. Here we go. Hey,
Hi.
Jean.
Hi, Casey. Thank you. It's one of my favorite topics for sure. I think most of us have heard our bodies are 70% water. That's kind of an average. Our brains are actually 80-85%, and our bones about 20-22 or something. So it averages out about 70%. We need to replenish the water we lose during the day, and people think, oh, I don't lose that much water. Well, we lose water not only in urine and perspiring, but even just standing or lying still, you lose moisture in just breathing. And so we do need to replenish it. It's very important. Water is essential for absolutely every cell of our body. We're made up of cells, and it's essential that we have water for our brain to function, for our intestinal tract, in order to digest our food, in order to transport those nutrients from our food to the places in the body they need to go. And when we don't have the water, I could go on and on with a list of why we need it, but when we don't have it, just think of the opposite of those things. We end up with things like headaches, dry skin, respiratory issues, constipation, and all kinds of not very fun things. And most of those sound like, okay, they're more irritating than anything else. But we know now that long-term chronic dehydration, which very many of us are, leads to chronic diseases of all kinds of chronic conditions. So obviously we need to have water. And there are a couple of points I'd like to make, that it's the quantity as well as the quality of the water that we have that's really important. As far as quantity goes, we've probably all heard many times that, 6 to 8 glasses of water a day is what we need. And that's a semi-good guideline, but I think a better one is to take your body weight, divide it by half, and you need just, under normal use, you need half of that body weight in ounces per day. So for instance, if you weighed 160 pounds, you need 80 ounces of water a day, and that tends to, 10 8-ounce glasses. However, there's another good way to check and see if you're getting enough, because if you have a lot of activity, if you're doing a lot of exercise, depending on your metabolism, your general health, you might need more, you might need a little less. Check the color of your urine. If it should be very, very light straw colored, and if it's dark, you definitely need to have more water because you're getting dehydrated. Does that make sense? And then we can talk not only about the quantity, but the quality of our water. And again, that could be something we could go on for hours about. But 2 or 3 points I'd like to make. One is that the tap water in the United States is considered, quote, safe. Every once in a while we hear of areas where they say boil your water because it's bacterially contaminated, and for a short time you have to do that. The problem comes with the fact that to make our water bacteriologically safe, they use chlorine or chloramine, other chemicals in our water. We really don't want to drink those, and that's what happens. We get it bacteriologically safe, we drink the chemicals, we also have everything from hormones and pharmaceuticals to rocket fuel that seeps into the water from various sources. So then we say, okay, well, maybe we better drink bottled water. Well, that sounds good. What we need to know is that bottled water is not even as regulated as tap water in this country. It also has the propensity for the plastic that most of the water is encased in, leaching into the water, chemicals that we don't want to have that cause cancer and all sorts of things. And also, much of the water that is in bottles is very acidic. And we know now that it's better for our body to have alkaline foods and alkaline water. And that's another thing you can go into a lot of detail about. But what I'd like to point out is that we need alkaline water, we need pure water. And speaking of purity, there are a lot of filters on the market, and you need to do your research and look carefully. There are some that are actually worthless. There are some that take out the big molecules like chlorine, and that's good because we don't want to be drinking all that chlorine. However, there are very few on the market, and you can look into those that will take out things all the way down to the hormone, pharmaceuticals, rocket fuel. That is not something we really want to drink. So just do your homework and know that we need to drink a lot of water, and that we can figure out easily how much to drink. And one other thing I left out that I do want to mention, the reason I'm stressing water is there are a lot of liquids that are dehydrating, and especially when we drink things with alcohol and caffeine in them, we need to drink that much water to make up for it. If you drink an 8-ounce cup of coffee, then drink an extra 8 ounces of water. Okay?
Okay, hey Jean, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So if they go to the store, to their local grocery store, because they don't have a filter at home and they want to buy water at the store, the general consensus that I hear from the experts is that spring water is the best to get from the store. So as far as its purity and cleanliness.
That's a good point as far as the spring water, but again, do your research and look in and see if that it didn't just spring from a tap, because there's not a big regulation, from what I understand, as to what they can and can't call spring water.
Okay.
And again, get it in glass bottles, because if you're getting it in plastic bottles that have BPA or other chemicals in them, then you also are going to be eventually drinking that. Think of a hot bottle that sits out on a dock or in a truck somewhere that's not refrigerated, and you're going to have the plastic leaching into it, even if it's pure water to start with. That makes sense?
Yeah. Alrighty, thank you Jean, appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome.
Bye-bye.